You know what would be cool?
What would be cool?
Okay, this is how you end What If. And maybe this is a better conversation for next episode. But we'll have enough to talk about.
Do you want to save it for next
episode? No,
episode?
because we'll have enough to talk about. And this is totally not going to happen and whatever. I think it would be a ton of fun if, like we said, this is the comedy episode, the zombies episode is like the horror movie episode. You know, they go real different. They don't just rewrite movies. And maybe this, I don't know, maybe this will happen. I would like to see, like, what if Ultron won, but then, like, Partygoer Thor is there, and, like, zombie Miss Marvel, or Ant-Woman is there. Her name is Wasp Lady.
I think it's pronounced Wasp.
Waspy. No, she's a white Anglo-Protestant Saxon. How do you spell Wasp? No, if, like, all of these what if timeline shatters were there was a character that was very... Like, there was a distinct character, and then all the timelines came together to fight Ultron. What would you think? Is that what happens? I can't imagine it is. Did you say nope?
You're asking a lot of questions, and I'm not sure if you want
and
the
I'm getting a little
answers
too
for
close
yet.
for comfort. See, but the problem is that I don't think the characters are distinct enough to come together to fight Ultron and have it be anything interesting. But I guess that's a conversation for another day. So, Andrew, hit that button that makes it go... Wait, no, we don't do that anymore.
I have come on a mission of gravest consequence. For I am the Watcher, member of an ancient race far older than man. But though our power is great, we are pledged only to watch, never to interfere. But now mankind faces the greatest danger it has ever known. The danger of
the Watchers of Earth. 199,999.
Welcome to the Watchers of Earth 199,999. I am your host, Andrew, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Seth.
I had a bit here, and then I forgot it.
Our third co-host, Joe. Do you have a bit for Joe?
No, there was something in the episode that I found funny, and I have since forgotten it.
Cool. Just like we always forget Joe.
Hey, got him.
And our fourth co-host, Uatu, is here, but is sworn only to watch and never interfere.
So today we watched episode 9 of Marvel What If the Watcher Broke His Oath. I don't know why I was going to give that a little...
Oomph. Give it some oomph.
Give it... What If the Watcher broke his oath, which was originally aired October 6, 2021, directed by Brian Andrews and written by A.C. Bradley. And the synopsis is just, what if the Watcher broke his oath?
Seth, in a sentence or less, what did you think?
I think it went on a little long. I think it follows the same as the last episode, where for just kind of being like an episode with fighting and a modicum of story, yeah, sure. And I mean, like this morning, I was in a good mood. I still am. So it's got problems more than the last episode, but
I hated this one. I hated it the first time. I hated it this time. And I will say I guess hate's strong. I didn't care for this one.
I wonder if I hated this and my is the same.
They're probably
ranking
close. I think mine's a little lower. I will say a lot of it is stuff that's very personal to me. I've said before, I'm fickle. Something that I really like in one thing, I really hate in another. And it honestly, you always say like, it could be, the day, my mood. And I think those factor in. But a lot of it, I think, is just what is around it. I will grade the exact same elements entirely differently based on what is around them. And I hate everything around this. I don't like it. I like a lot of stuff in it. I think, like you said about the last episode, if this was just an episode of a Marvel TV show that was just its own fucking thing, I think I would probably really enjoy it.
See, that's kind of how I watched it still.
But because it is part of the Marvel Muck, and I know it's part of the Marvel Muck, and even if it's not even if this doesn't matter to everything else going on in the movies, it is still stemming directly from those movies, and it makes it so boring and so irritating for me. And the first time I watched this, we were already close to catching up. I think we were in the middle of Loki recording that at the time this was on. So when I watched this the first time, I tuned out. I just was on my phone. I just realized I'm going to have to watch this again anyway for the podcast. And I do not care. So I just completely tuned out. So I kind of watched it fresh this time. I barely remembered a lot of it because I barely watched a lot of it. So this was kind of like a fresh experience and I didn't like it.
I guess I'm interested, not because I think you're wrong or anything like that, but I wonder what's so like vehemently opposed to you. You mentioned the Marvel Muck and stuff like that, and again, I'm just in a good mood today, so I'm more forgiving. But I feel like it's not too different from the last episode where the Marvel Muck didn't really get into it.
See, but I didn't like the Marvel Muck in the I liked the last episode less than you did.
This is the first I'm hearing it.
If I recall correctly, I mean, what do I know?
I just remember you also liking it. I don't know. If
I
we
did
got into,
enjoy
like,
the last one, but I hated all the stuff that is directly tied to this in the last one. All the Watcher stuff I hated in the last one. That's what basically bogged the whole thing down. And this episode is nothing but the Watcher stuff. It's nothing but the multiverse crap. This is a multiverse episode. And I just, in theory, like I said before, if there was an X-Files show that was just about alternate universes teaming up, I could get behind it. But because this is supposed to be an anthology show of just what-if stuff, but everything has to fucking matter, and so they all have to come together for a big goddamn battle like every Marvel thing does. And I will say, I like the battle in this episode, but everything has to come together in a big fucking battle. You can't just have an anthology that's just an anthology. It has to be something. You can't just have WandaVision where it's just episodes of a sitcom featuring Marvel characters. It has to be something. It has to mean something. It has to go somewhere, because otherwise the MCU fans are going to sit there and go, what's it matter? What's the point? Because every single Marvel thing matters. Every single Marvel thing has a point. Good or bad, they all mean something. They all affect something. They all have something to say, good or bad, pointless or not. And I mean, usually you're the one that's just like, I hate the Marvel stuff and it's all stupid and I hate it. And I'm just like, it's fine. And I don't know, like, it always seems to be like, if I hate something, you're indifferent to it. I like it.
Yeah.
And I just like, this stuff just specifically, it just like gets right into the kind of crap that I hate. It's just fan service bullshit. And like, it's good fan service bullshit, or well, it's fun fan service bullshit, but it just like, it rubs me the wrong way. And I mean, like I said at the beginning, it is entirely personal. This is just specifically stuff I don't like in the way that I don't like it. And it just rubs me the wrong way. Like, this is not a bad show. I think it's a misguided show. I think it misses its mark on just the basic idea of what it claims to do and what it actually does do, but that's just the Marvel through line. They all miss the mark, even the good ones. But I wanted a specific type of show. This is not it. This episode is the culmination of it not being it, and I find it so frustrating. I think the humor in it is bad. I think it's a little too cute for its own good. There's too many like winking and smiling at the camera that just rubs me the wrong way. And I just don't like it. And it's weird to be the one on the show that, I mean, we've had a couple episodes where I'm the one that's just like, I don't like this thing. And you did, like, very first time was Thor. I did not like Thor.
No, wasn't it Hulk?
No, because you did not like Hulk during the episode. It is every episode afterwards you completely remember or you completely misremember the conversation we had about the Hulk. You listened to that episode, you fucking hated it. You didn't even, you burned the episode.
I know, I did. I think it's funny. And I think you have a lot of fair points that I don't necessarily even disagree with. I'm going to say we've talked ad nauseum about anthology series and how they like can't exist in a money greedy world because why make more things when few things do trick? And you know what? I don't know if this is just waking up on the right side of the bed today. I thought this was a fine, like, you're right. Every other episode I sit here and I run through the same monologue you just did, and then you go, it is what it is. And I'm kind of there. I think, I don't know, like, I'm fine with the team up. If you have all these characters, it's a multiverse thing. At the last episode, they already went into different multiverses, so it's like kind of established there, and I'm fine. At the end of your season, it's not going to be as... This is
also, I think, a one-time deal.
It's not going to work if they do it next season.
Which they will.
I know. I'm not writing them.
I mean, and to be fair, it's not fair to grade it on a future assumption.
4 movies from now are probably already out.
But I mean, like, season 2 is going to end the same way because it has to. They did it in the first season, but it's the same thing as, like, you know, not doing just your standard supervillain plot in Avengers and instead having Loki and a bunch of aliens. Like, you go big and then where do you go from there? You can only go bigger. And like, if you do a team up, where do you go next? Just team up everybody else against what? An even bigger threat? 2 Ultrons with the Infinity Gauntlet armor?
No, they should go back to the same moment in time and just fight them again.
And I just...
I don't know if you sent it to me, or if I read it on my own. I was reading something where, like, the Marvel Universe can't have small villains. I think it was directly referencing Batroc and how they kill him off in Black Panther, and it's just like, they have to kill...
Batroc gets killed off in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No, yeah.
You're talking, what's his name? Starts with
not the
K.
Claw.
Claw, that's it.
The guy from Inspector Gadget. It's just, we talk about comics a lot on this show, and there's a major stark difference, I think, which is...
Tony Stark difference.
Nobody dies in comics, but in the movies, everybody dies.
Because they get their one movie to shine.
They introduce him in the movie, and then they kill him. And it would kind of be nice to have something reoccur. Again, with the Claw thing, people were talking about, like, oh, it could have been cool if, like, Claw came back in Falcon, and, like, he would have fit in Falcon and Winter Soldier. And whether or not you agree or disagree or whatever, like, having kind of if you're going to sit here and have this Marvel Cinematic Universe, make a universe. Don't just take the same 7 characters and throw them in every movie. Like, let villains come and go. Let villains kind of have stories. The Infinity Saga. But the Infinity Saga is just like 2 movies.
Yeah.
Because Thanos is not really a part of, like, yeah, the stones technically are, but it's a retconned thing, which is fine. But you're not watching a story unfold. You're watching a story that at the end it's like, and the Infinity Saga.
So is this in defense of What If? Because What If is doing the exact same thing. It introduced a villain at the very second to last episode, and then the last episode was like, and now, here's the fight scene for that.
Like you, I am a nuanced human being, and I think it works in Marvel What If, because Marvel What If...
I think it's the same thing. But each character gets one episode to explain their little plot, which is usually held up very precariously with the movie that it's based on. And then we're done with them, and we move on to the next one, and then the finale, it brings them all in. It does the same thing Avengers does. Each character gets their own stupid fucking movie that explains their deal, and then they show up in Avengers where it doesn't have to explain their backstory, but they can have a big stupid fight scene with the villain that showed up in one other thing.
But I guess the same thing. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm slightly telling you off.
That's fair. I am being very abrasive this episode. I deserve it, and I will continue to be abrasive.
You're not wrong. The story points hit exactly. Whatever. But I think what helps it here is, and you're going to vehemently disagree here because you hate every single instance of this pretending it's an anthology series. But I think the fact that this is an anthology series, I think the fact that each episode is its own universe, each episode, like, it all coming together at the end works better for me than the haphazard, let's throw Captain America in this movie, let's throw Black Widow in this. Well, then Tony Stark's going to come in this movie, and then, like...
I see your point, and I
don't think you do, because you're so pissed. No, go ahead. I shouldn't agitate you, because you're already agitated.
I see your point. I think your point is just, like, the opposite mood of my point, where it's just, I'm fickle, and the exact same thing in a different circumstance with different things surrounding it works for me. And this, I stand by my point that I think this is the exact same as the movies. But I think for you, it's just...
I agree.
It's just the frame of reference around it, which I feel is not enough or really any different. For you, the frame of reference is just like, I know this is an anthology show, and therefore my brain lets this work for me. And I'm just sitting here going like, it is an anthology show and it's failing, doesn't let it work for me. And I think it's a pure mindset thing.
We talked a lot about Marvel Muck. Yeah, we talked a lot about Marvel Muck, and there's a ton of it in What If.
I do think there's less of it.
Well, I was going to say, but it's also the least involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which, again, I think helps me.
See, and I think that's what hurts me, is because it's so unconnected to the Marvel Universe, but it's still the Marvel fucking muck everywhere.
There's also... So here's a hypothetical, and here's our multiverse episode. What could they do? And I know this is very, very open-ended, but, like, any show made under Marvel Studio, like, can they make anything under Marvel Studios that's not going to have this problem? Like, now that Marvel Studios is a thing, now that they're kind of making all their crap, now that superheroes are in vogue again, we're back to the 90s. We got X-Men, we got Spider-Man, we got, I don't know, the fucking other shows that I've watched, Static Shock, the Marvel version, though. Like, if it's too close, it's bad because it's Marvel mucked. If it's too far, I mean, this is unfair because I'm going to say, why make it a Marvel Cinematic Universe thing?
I think, like I've said before, I think you can have a Marvel's, like an MCU thing that just isn't connected to everything. It just exists in the fucking universe. Like, this could have existed in the multiverse, and I think my problem is just because it is so heavily leaning on the movies. And in the end, it still has to be a Marvel thing that matters, which granted is not necessarily an MCU thing so much as just a money-making thing.
I also think it hurts, like, retelling the movies, which admittedly they did it earlier on than I think they did at the end. But retelling the movies is a huge problem here. I also think another major problem here is actor likenesses. And it's one of those things, like we've said about all the Marvel movies, it's neat to see the logistical nightmare come to life on screen. That is, getting all of these actors together, syncing schedules, whatever. Less interesting in an animated sense. Yeah, it's interesting to get everybody in, well, almost everybody in recording booths. But, like, would it have helped if it wasn't the actor likenesses and voice, like, and they were just like, I mean, they're alternate universes anyways.
I don't think so. I think, like, It
again,
depends.
it has the main problem of retelling the story.
Yeah, I think it depends how far you go, and I think the problem is if it didn't have the actor licenses, then it would feel even weirder. It'd be like the Avengers video game, where it's like everybody is like off model, and it's clearly not the
Fair.
MCU, but it is so like clearly aping
That's
the
fair.
MCU that it just becomes like this weird uncanny valley. And I think that's where I think this is partly saved by that, because it's not going far enough to be separated. It is still so hinged upon the Marvel Universe that if you didn't get the actors back in their likenesses, then it would just look stupid.
I agree. I can see that. Which again comes into the fact that they just kind of retell those early movies and kind of really ground it. You know, if Marvel Zombies, other than the fact that, like you always say, they have to use the same 5 characters, whatever. If Marvel Zombies didn't have character likenesses, it was just like a little 30-minute special they threw online or whatever. Or, you know, for Halloween, they made Marvel Zombies 30-minute episode.
Yeah.
Didn't have character likenesses. Does that work better for you?
Oh, absolutely. I think the problem is still the plot of that episode, but I think
Yeah, but
I think if you just said like this is the Marvel comics, or just like a Marvel universe, just like here's whatever characters we want to use, and it's a zombies thing, and it's just like a 30-minute Halloween special, like that Werewolf by Night thing that they're making that may or may not be part of the MCU. I think that works better, because I think Marvel Zombies is one that is really hindered by the Marvel Universe because it has a bunch of nobody characters in it, because who else do you use?
Mhm.
So I think like you can do more and more interesting stuff if it's not part of the MCU, and I think the MCU is really the biggest problem of that Zombies episode.
But is it as apparent without character likenesses? And this might be getting into a too far off hypothetical.
I think it is a little too far off hypothetical, just because that one, I could say, I don't think the character likenesses are really a problem if it was like, you know, Bucky,
Especially since
Peter
Peter was
Parker,
off model anyways.
I don't know, the Falcon and Iron Fist or whatever. But because it's Peter Parker and then Bruce Banner and Bucky, and then everybody else is just like nobodies. Like, no shade thrown on Foggy or not Foggy, Happy or Sharon, but like, it's a bunch of nobodies. It's that guy you didn't even know who he was from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And that does not work at all without the actor returning and getting their likeness. So like, I think in order to posit that hypothetical, you have to basically completely rewrite the episode to include more characters.
I was just wondering how far removed it has to, like, again, I don't think we're going to get anything, even the new X-Men sequel.
That one's at least like, it's not part of the MCU. At least, I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe at the end of the Watcher, like the end of season 1, the Watcher will be looking in, he's like, this is another what if universe. They all matter.
But they could do that. I mean, that would suck.
And I think that might be like kind of, like in a weird, again, like the meta stuff, I think that could be fun. Like, I don't know if you watched it, but a couple days ago, the trailer came out for Far From Home, or No Way Home. And I watched it out of general curiosity, I guess, like,
General
whatever.
curiosity, masochism.
At 2. And that is like a movie that I have zero interest in and simultaneously a ton of interest. But that movie is fueled entirely. Like, nothing else is fueling it. But just the weird metatextual nonsense. It's like the Quicksilver Scarlet Witch thing in Age of Ultron, where it's just fascinating that they can use them, and Fox can too. It is that, but that is like the only thing powering this movie. It is just the weird thing that they're like, they got all the Sony villains
It's
back.
the logical
and I'm sure
nightmare.
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be back probably. I'm sure we'll see Miles Morales, like a live action Miles Morales. Maybe we'll even see a fucking cartoon Spider-Man. Who fucking knows anymore? Like, I hate all of it. I don't want another Spider-Verse. We already got an animated one. I don't need a live action one. But man, like you said, the logistical nightmare and just like weird metatextual crap of doing it is fascinating. But it is a one-time watch movie. I go to the theater and I watch it and I'm just like, this is all so weird. And I kind of love it. but I know like the plot's going to be stupid. I'm going to fucking hate it. And we're going to sit down after we watch it over Christmas or whatever the fuck it comes out. And I'm going to sit down and be like, I hated it and I loved it. It's so fucking weird. It's so fucking stupid. I know I'm not going to like it. I also know that it's going to be like immediately fascinating, but there's going to be nothing but like watching it in the theater and not necessarily knowing exactly what's coming up next. And then afterwards talking to you about it. And then my interest in that movie is fucking gone. There is no staying power in that movie.
That you know.
That I know. I could be proven wrong, but I don't think I will be. And I'm a Spider-Man fan.
You say that, but you hate every Spider-Man movie.
No, I hate the new Spider-Man movies. I liked Amazing Spider-Man. I'm one of the few people that did.
Yeah, I remember talking. You didn't like the Raimi Spider-Man.
I don't love the Raimi Spider-Man, but I also haven't watched them since,
I remember them being really good. I was thinking the other day.
They're too campy for me, but I honestly don't know if I watch them again now.
See, it's funny because, like, especially after 10 years of MCU, like, and sitting through all these episodes with you, I feel like all you want is camp. Like, you just want...
I probably do. I think the problem is I think it's some of the wrong camp for me. I'm also going completely off of not even my memory, my emotional memory of watching them in high school.
They've ruined him.
And it was one of those things where, like, I was excited to finally see Spider-Man in the theater. And I will admit, I liked those movies when I saw them the first time. But watching them again a couple years later,
when he grew up,
I remember just being like, it's not taking Spider-Man seriously. Not even, like, seriously, like, edgy, gritty. But just, like, it felt like it was too much, like, ashamed of what it was and kind of, like, being like, it's a comic book, so it has to be kind of, like, stupid and poking fun of it at itself. And I'm, like, again, this is all not even memory, emotional memory. For all I know, I'll sit down and watch those again and be like, I loved them. They're, like, fucking stupid and weird, and I kind of love it.
Because it's, like you said, it's that fickleness between, like, Raimi Spider-Man doesn't take it, or, like, it's not taking itself not seriously correctly, and then, like, Speed Racer is, like...
I think it's the melodrama. I remember them being, like, really melodramatic and, like, taking themselves, like, story-wise seriously in, like, a weird, like, soap opera emotional crap, which, to be fair, Spider-Man is, like, a soap opera in comics. And that's part of what makes it.
Do you want me to get you out of this hole you're digging?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's a weird thing where it's just like there's something about it where it's not. I either need it to be like full on like Batman 66 camp, or I don't like the Nolan movies, but like Nolan seriousness. There's a weird like middle ground where it's like you can go enough in a certain direction and enough in the other, but like there's like a weird middle area where they don't like gel for me. And that's what I remember the Raimi movies being upon rewatch a decade ago.
Well, maybe we'll rewatch them again when we get caught up and we got weeks to kill. But let's get back to this. I think there's a lot of fighting. So I mentioned that it's a little long. There was an exact moment that I was like, yeah, this is long. And it was one of the many times that Ultron was just like, haha, not really. The fighting is good and the action's good. And it reminded me of the last episode where it was a lot of action. And it was just kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of how I remember the old cartoons being when I watched them. They might not have been, but that's what let me kind of just watch it like one of those instead of this big Marvel Muck ruined thing.
Well, and I will say, in its defense, for as much as I was like, it's another fucking fight, and I hate all the fucking fighting and all these things, I like this fight. There's like a lot of like showing off of varied powers and utilizing different powers together. I think there's a lot of fun stuff. I like this fight. I just don't like the episode.
It's there's very little story here. It's all kind of pulled in from the last episode. It's just like we got to get the Soul Stone, and it's just kind of there to allow for the fighting to happen.
I also think like there's a bit of like, you either accept the reason for everybody to get together and you don't. And I don't, because the Watcher is like, you know, he appears to each one and he's like, you have been chosen. And it's not like he's like, I just have to like find people and these are the last like 5 people I looked at. He's just like, so-and-so, you've been chosen. I'm like, why would you choose the Thor that has no responsibility? Why would you choose Killmonger Black Panther, who, if I recall, like,
was a villain at the end of that episode.
But like, correct me if I'm wrong, he doesn't actually serve a purpose in this episode. He doesn't do anything that they need him to do, but at the end when he like steals the stones, it's one of those stupid things like Doctor Strange in Endgame where the Watcher's like, I knew that he would try and steal the stone, but also that Arnim Zola, who we never should have thought would be able to be trusted in the first place, would also try and steal the stones, and then you'd seal them into their own little reality. It was all part of my plan. That's why I picked the evil Black Panther.
Hashtag
like,
calculated.
Fuck you, stupid. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
why would you pick him? And what, like, why wouldn't you pick, like, if you're going, like, I need people with, like, you know, different personalities or whatever, like, you embody this, you embody, like, you know, Captain Carter, you're a leader. Gamora, that we never watched
I
the
need the
episode
range.
for.
Yeah,
though,
that's true, right? We never saw that episode.
Even though your thing looked like it would have been a fun watch, we don't have time for that. We had to watch fucking Iron Man 2 again.
And honestly, I was thinking, you hate Tony Stark, and I don't care for Iron Man, but I don't know. I could have done this big, like...
That suit was cool.
That's what I mean. Like, he's like, okay, Gamora, come with me. I was like, no, get the giant robot suit.
Yeah.
Get the giant robot suit, man.
But that's what I'm saying.
You have a bunch of these just like regular-sized people.
When he's like, no, not you, Tony. I'm like, why not bring him as well? It's not like you have a limit. It's not like you're like building your team and you got a bunch of fucking rules. Just grab whoever will come along. Same thing. I was like, granted, they bring the zombie episode in when it was like, I'm bringing all the zombies. Also, when he brings in all the zombies and Thor is like, zombies, yeah. And then Doctor Strange is like, it's not the zombies. It's what comes with them. And then Thor's like, oh, yeah, I get it. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't know what's going on in that universe. But like, out of all the people to bring, why not bring Zombie Universe Peter Parker, the Peter Parker with endless optimism? If you're building a team and you're giving everyone like a one-sentence reason to be there, I feel like he has the clearest, like, you're here to be the heart of the team. Do we need that? No, but like, you got fucking useful powers. You're not gonna try and steal the stones at the end. You're not gonna call fucking Ultron to our universe by shooting lightning into the sky.
They go back to the original Ultron universe and Black Widow like interrupts everything. And I was like, why not quote unquote choose her too?
Yeah, that too.
Why was she like a thing you didn't expect?
It's because it was an exciting thing to have her show up in that universe.
It was an exciting thing to have her show up in that universe. These are good points. And I agree that I could kind of ignore all that and just, I don't know. I don't want to say I can ignore all that because a lot of that stuff's stupid. I just kind of
didn't care.
I was like, I agree with you. I guess I let it go. Damn, I woke up on the right side of the bed today. I let it go because I was just like, that's what the show is for. Like in your monologue where you're like, everything's got to mean something and do something. And I was just like, when the Watcher was like, come on, Killmonger, you killed Tony Stark. That's great. I love it. Come on, Gamora, we didn't watch your episode and Tony looks like a cooler guy, but I got limited time and limited people and you're mine. I was just kind of like, yeah, the show has to do what the show was doing. And so I guess I was able to kind of let it ride and just be like, Watcher, you just do this. I hate it, but just put them all. I know what you're doing. Just get them there so that I don't have to watch you do this stupid thing. Same thing with like goofy comic Thor. And I was actually thinking when we were talking in Thor's episode, we were like, why not just go like Looney Tunes Thor? And I mean, we've already seen this because it's in essentially Into the Spider-Verse. But I was thinking Thor does feel different than regular MCU Thor in that he is more obnoxious with his jokes. Because now that he's not in his like in-universe joke world, he's way more obnoxious. But then I was also thinking like, what if they did go like up to 11? He was just like cartoon animal Thor.
Yeah, I think he's obnoxious, but I didn't feel like he was that different from the normal Marvel stuff once he's out of the universe. He's just another character. He's like Star-Lord or Drax, not like fucking Endgame when they're all honking fucking clown noses when Doctor Strange is trying to explain what's going on. Like it felt like that. And like I did like in a certain way, I didn't like, but like I kind of appreciated the like stupid little bit where like the Watcher shows up to get that Thor, and like apparently like once he steps foot in that universe, he's also bound by the logic of comedy where he's just he's like hey, pay attention, shut up, I gotta go. Thor, fucking come on, let's stop, pay attention, I'm trying to do a thing. And it's like I like that joke, I just don't like it here, and I think it's just because I just don't like everything. Like, I don't like the Watcher making jokes and quips, and he doesn't do it in this episode, but last episode when he said, what the hell? Like, I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't care for the Watcher interfering here. I mean, he interferes more in the last episode than he does here, but I don't need the Watcher to put a team together, I guess. I know he has to. I don't know how else they would, other than Ant-Man and Wasp being like, hey, here's the quantum verse. I agree. I think the Watcher has a lot of muddy areas. I don't care. I mean, I guess I'm glad he kind of throws everything off to Doctor Strange, and then Doctor Strange kind of deals with it. But like at the end, when he makes the pocket universe, I started thinking like, okay, last episode we saw, what is the Watcher able to do?
Kind of anything. At certain points, it seems like he's all-powerful. He just like
chooses not to be.
He just like has rules that he like decides not to follow just because it would like the logic of this is apparently like he breaks his vow to not interfere just because like if he doesn't interfere then there's nothing to not interfere with anymore.
And like I joked last episode, is it a thing where it's like I didn't interfere, the heroes from multiple universes interfered. I just brought them together. Last episode, he feels kind of weak because he gets his shit rocked by Ultron. This episode, at the end, he's just like, and time. Boom, pocket universe, everything's solved.
See, but I don't think he makes the pocket universe. I think Strange does.
But he does the little hand thing.
Maybe? I don't know. I thought that was Strange making that.
I thought it was strange, too, that he did that at the end. But it's just kind of something that I was thinking, like, why interfere by bringing together all these people? Why not interfere in a more impactful way?
Because this is the, like you said, like, this is the fun thing where you get all the characters
This is the
together.
story. Because, like, Natasha was yelling at him at the end. He's like, yeah, I could do that, but it's boring. I want to go see everybody interact. These stories are my lifeblood.
He's like, you're more than stories to me. You're my everything. And I was like, whatever.
Fucking, can I have your autograph? Fucking super fan here.
I like how Ultron, when he made his upgraded vision body that's supposed to be better than his normal body, he did remember to keep the USB port behind the eyeball.
Hey, so, okay, Black Widow finds Hawkeye's USB arrow and then says, Captain Carter, you need to go. She says distract him, but she doesn't.
She, kind of. She, like,
Black Widow
jumps up.
shoots the arrow anyways, like.
Yeah, but she pulls the, like, helmet up. I guess that's not a distraction, but that's what she was there for.
But I was thinking, Hawkeye's whole shtick is that he is the world's greatest archer, and then Black Widow is just like, also me. Fucking shooting an arrow while ramping off a motorcycle, shooting an arrow 400 billion miles away, and hitting him dead in the eye? Are you fucking kidding me?
I also agree that Hawkeye sucks.
It's just kind of like, that's not Black Widow's shtick. I like
No, it's Hawkeye's stick on the end of the arrow.
Oh shit, you were making a little goofy. But I was just like, that's not what Black Widow does.
Well,
I like the
she also
story
has
parallel.
Captain America's shield, and you're not throwing a tantrum about that. Well, actually, it's not Captain America's. It's
Captain Britain's. Is it Captain Britain?
No, it's
Carter.
no the red
Captain Comrade.
red
Comrade Gustav.
whatever the guy from the Black Widow movie that I can't think of what he was called.
Captain Oligarchy. Captain Red Dawn.
The red something. The Crimson something. No, Crimson Dynamo is the Iron Man.
Red Bear. Red Man.
Red Man, that's it.
Wasn't it Dynamo?
No, Crimson Dynamo is the Russian Iron Man.
I'm gonna look this up because I am interested. You keep talking.
I got nothing to say. I don't know.
Well, fill the dead air then.
It's not like I can't just cut it out, but all right. I don't know. I got nothing to say. I like their, like, weird armor and how it's unique to each of them, but you don't really get a good look at any of them. But when Doctor Strange gives them the mystical armor, I like.
When he was giving him the mystical armor and they were all getting, like, cool fantasy stuff, because I guess Doctor Strange's a big fantasy fan, I was so upset that it was, like, see-through, and then it just vanished. And I was like, no, give him something cool to wear. Sell toys.
It does keep showing up, though. Every time they
get hit or something.
But
it's still in that, like,
yeah,
transparent.
I would not have liked it if he gave him, like, real armor.
I don't know.
If it stayed on him the entire time and it was transparent, I think that's a cool look. If he just, like, here's all of you get suits of armor, I'd be like, fuck this is stupid.
It was Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, that's it. Anyway. At the end, when he's like, I'm not going to interfere, but also I'm going to put Natasha back on this universe that doesn't have a Black Widow anymore, I was like, that seems like a big interference.
Especially after telling Peggy, like, hey, you can't go. Or you have to go to that one. And
we have plans for season 2 to watch you again.
And I guess, like, the whole thing is that, like, Black Widow's universe is entirely destroyed. But it's just kind of like, I don't know, leave Black Widow to die, I guess.
I don't know.
Interfere.
I didn't like when that fight's happening and Loki's like, Nick Fury, you and your replacement Avengers. And I was like, there's 2 of them. It's Captain America and Captain Marvel. There's no one else. It's not like he made a whole new team. It's not like we saw Howard the Duck running around.
What if?
Which would have been fun, but we don't do that kind of stuff. We don't do the fun stuff.
I didn't like how when Peggy gets back to her world, Black Widow saves her, and she's like, I am so glad to see you. And it's like, you literally just saw her. Granted, a different one.
It's because they're
It's not
friends.
like Black Widow died in her arms, and she had to, like, relive that, and was like, oh my gosh, like, this sucks. And then we're like, oh.
It's supposed to be that they're such great friends.
BFFs, I think the joke was.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I also did not like when it ended and she's like, hey, you gotta go see this. It's the
Steve.
Iron Man suit and Steve's in there. And I was like, what the fuck is this stupid bullshit?
Yeah, that's dumb. I didn't need or care for that. Like, okay, so since I brought it up last episode where apparently she's going to get an episode every season or whatever, like, I don't know, does she really have enough to say? Like, I know you could say literally anything with it, but do something
I think there's
else
enough.
in
Like
that.
like I said, I am completely fine with Captain Carter getting her own spin-off show where we just follow her after the events of this, doing whatever the fuck, and I don't know, put
She's just going to
Steve
team up with
Rogers'
Steve.
fucking
Steve and a robot
great.
man.
Well, put Steve Rogers' fucking nephew in the Iron Man suit and have him fly around blasting shit. I don't give two fucking shits. But making it like, here's our
gonna be
anthology
Captain
show
America
and
and Iron
wasting
Man.
an episode every fucking season to go back to the same story, it just feels like a waste of time. If you have ideas to do something every season, then just give us a fucking series with her. They're doing a Marvel Zombie series. I find it, again, maybe it won't be a spinoff from the episode, but it probably will be a spinoff from the episode. Just give fucking Captain Carter her own damn show. I'll watch it. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Then who's
I just
gonna
don't
lead,
need it
who's going to
wasting
lead
time.
the Guardians of the Multiverse?
Then bring her back. Like, then you have your tie-in between the two fucking shows. She gets her show where she gets to romp around doing whatever, and at the end, the Watcher shows up and he's like, "You're needed again."
I mean, there's no way they're going to do that, right?
We gotta go fight Ultron.
They're not going to do that, right?
He's got 6 arms
That's stupid.
and 4 buttholes.
They're not going to just make the same show again, right?
They are. Of course they are.
That's the dumb.
At the end, they're all. Season 2 is going to end with them all teaming up with all.
Episodes.
We're going to see Captain Carter being like, her episode is going to be her own one and done thing in the middle of the season, and then at the end of her episode, the Watcher's going to show up and be like, "I need you to lead another team."
I've chosen
we're going to watch
you again.
We're going to watch like 2 or 3 more episodes setting up the next whatever team members, and then they're all going to team up together to fight Thanos, but this time he's got 2 gauntlets on.
No,
It's going to be
it's
fucking
going to
dumb.
tie in. What's been happening? We haven't.
Fight evil Steve Rogers, and then she's got to fight like Captain America, but he's also a Hydra agent.
What's been happening? I'm not caught up, so we can't talk about this yet. But it's going to have to. They have to do stuff. They're going to retell Black Widow. Who's the villain in Black Widow?
They're going to do what if Black Widow was controlled by the Red Room and never left?
What? Yeah. What if is she going to be the villain?
What if
then Peggy has to kill her? They're BFFs. She's going to fucking kill her.
they're going to do? What if Shang-Chi joined his dad?
I didn't
and
watch
was
that
evil?
movie yet. I don't know. What about? Ooh, Marvel's What About? That's the second episode. That's the second season.
What if one of the Eternals wasn't gay?
What if they were all straight? What if
the Eternals were all straight white men?
What if the Eternals are all straight white men? What if Black Widow never left the Red Room? What if what happened, Falcon? What if Bucky became Captain
Yeah.
America? Can we just
Every
have a
episode,
season?
every season has a Captain Carter episode and another episode where someone else becomes fucking Captain
Can we
America.
just have one whole what if season where every episode is what if Chala was Captain America? What if Bucky was Captain America?
Fucking stupid.
What if the Eternals were a straight Captain America?
What if Steve Rogers was Captain America 2?
What if Captain America wanted to be more Captain America? He's the end villain. He's too Captain to America.
He's Captain All America, so he's North America, South America, and fuck it, throw Canada. Throw Canada in there as well.
No, Middle America.
Middle America. There you go.
They're not going to tell the same story. They're not that stupid. They can't.
They are that stupid, Seth. We've watched all these movies. They're the same fucking movie with a different coat of paint on it. Of course season 2 is going to be the same fucking
They're
thing.
stupid. The people who watch these are stupid. Of course they're going to make it.
They're making a spin-off show from WandaVision about Agatha Harkness, the character who has nothing left to do anymore.
To be fair, at the very beginning of this episode, I said, why do we kill off characters? And you're right, that she doesn't have anything else to do. But, like, I don't know. Stop doing things wrong. Just do it right. I can't believe I'm going to watch another season of this goddamn show, and at the end, they're going to team up in the same... The Watcher's going to be like, I chose you.
Put your money down. Who do you think is the villain that they all got to team up against? Give me your honest answer. What do you think they're going to do?
I haven't watched all the movies that they're going to twerk with.
Fair. But based on the movies you've seen...
put down
where we're
money. Here's the money shot. Who's going to be pissed? Both of us? You or me? Or none of us?
Both of us.
You don't think next season I'm going to sit there and be like, now it's time for my monologue. And you're going to be like, eh.
Well, if the end is like, what if Howard the Duck teamed up with a million other Howard the Ducks and made an evil Howard the Duck team, then maybe I'd be on board.
What if Howard the Duck was a cis straight male? What if Marvel What If happened again is my
What if
tentative
the
title.
Watcher was evil?
What if the Watcher didn't interfere in Marvel What If?
What if the Watcher was the smeller?
Only. Ooh.
I can only sniff but never interfere.
What if we had a Watcher for each sense? And they all had to talk to each other. The Watcher didn't hear what everybody did. He just saw it. And then he would like, what are they saying, Watcher of ears? Or listener?
They all have to climb on each other's shoulders
about
to
Watcher
make
of
one
ears?
Watcher.
They Megatron it so that they can experience. I'm the experiencer. This is good comedy. I hope people still listen to our show after 38 episodes, because this is good comedy. What do you want to talk about this episode about? Nothing. I mean, the fighting is fine. I liked, actually, I thought it was good direction and some good scene work when the Soul Stone is on the ground.
Yes. Well, as usual, there's better camera work in a cartoon.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the camera stayed stagnant. It was more about...
No, but I mean, like, it was just like a nice, tight, clean, colorful shot.
Mm-hmm. With like a little bit of stuff. And then like you see Ultron go to pick it up and he gets shot. And I was like, yeah, this is good stuff. Have the whole episode like this. Why does it matter? Why is the Soul Stone so important, Andrew?
It's not. It was just the one that they grabbed. It's the one that doesn't have a definable power, so nobody was able to use it against him. If they had the Time Stone, then they could have been now we can turn back time.
Let's talk about how dumb it is when Gamora, we didn't watch her episode, so we don't know anything about her. And she comes in and she's like, I have this big machine that specific purpose is to burn Infinity Stones up. And then at the end, Ultron's just like, fucking idiot. It wasn't meant to burn these Infinity Stones. It's meant to burn other ones. And I was like,
it's like a bunch of fucking kids playing in a plate. Like, well, I have super strength, so I can pick up. Well, this thing is so heavy that no one can pick it up. Okay, well, I am invulnerable to
your power.
Psychic blast at you. Well, I'm invulnerable to psychic blasts, and I use my magnet powers. Well, I'm not made out of metal. I'm made out of fucking jello. It's fucking stupid. And like, there is a thing that is like kind of like interesting again, where they're like, each universe is slightly different, even if they're the same. They all have like their own differences, which I was thinking earlier when Black Widow shows up and Peggy's like, wait, I know her. And I was like, yeah, some of these other people also probably know her, but whatever. Well, I guess Thor wouldn't know her, Star-Lord wouldn't know her, but still, whatever.
But still, that's my own headcanon. Who would know her?
Doctor Strange seemed to know her because he knew about Captain America. But anyway, doesn't matter. Point is, she's like, wait, I know her. And then she's like, and I can prove it. Your father's name was whatever and some other fact about you that I don't remember. And I was like, okay, but like in this universe, maybe her dad isn't that person. In this universe,
then she just shoots her point blank.
Maybe she never, like, any like slight difference could be a factor here. Like fucking butterfly effect. Maybe the whole reason Ultron worked was because she knew her birth dad and he gave her a call and she was late to pick up Captain America's shield on the road in Age of Ultron, which you don't remember happening. But like,
I literally do not remember that happening.
It's something where I was thinking like, this is fine. Like this is a nitpick. But I was just like, the facts you know about Natasha won't prove that you know her to this Natasha necessarily. There could be a multitude of tiny, tiny differences.
Yeah.
And that's all fine. It's also like, maybe this Natasha tells everybody about her family. Maybe she's like a celebrity here before Ultron took over and everybody knows these facts about her. So the fact that you know doesn't prove anything to her, as opposed to like, you're Natasha who's very guarded. Mm-hmm. And that's all fine. And I was thinking that and I was like, this is a nitpick. But then when the fucking crux of the episode, so that we can have a dramatic thing where there's
because they didn't write a 30-minute
Stones.
Episode, they wrote a 20-minute episode and then, we got 10 more minutes.
He's just like, especially because Ultron is like, he basically, like you said, he's just like, you fucking idiots. Why did you think that would work? And it's like, there is no reason anybody would have thought this.
And it kind of did work. What happened if the thing didn't work? It made the little magic thing. It made the buttons.
All the little lights lit up and said like, we got all the stones.
What was it? Just like, it wasn't like our Roomba. It's just like, and all the lights go off, and then at the end it's just like, boom, boom, boom. Error.
It's fucking dumb.
It's super fucking dumb. It's only so we could see fucking Michael B. Jordan sit there and be like, oh, I was the villain of the piece.
Well, and again, like I said, like he doesn't do anything. He goes off with Gamora to set up their like Infinity Stone Eater machine, but like he doesn't need to be there. And it's because he serves no purpose except to take the stones later, which the Watcher's like, I planned for all this. This was all part of my thing. And I was like, why? This is just like Doctor Strange being like, we have to give up the Time Stone so that you can sacrifice your life in 5 years. Fucking stupid. It's fucking dumb. It's all like, it seems smart and clever and twisty, and it's just stupid. I hate it.
What about, okay, here's my question. You know how when Michael B. Jordan was like, I have the stones, and they're super powerful, and I can do whatever I want. I'm going to go be Nightwing all day. Why? Now, I know it's because I know Killmonger is a bad guy, but like, if Steve said that, would everyone be like, oh, you're right, we can use the stones for good? Like, the stones aren't inherently evil.
Yes.
So why would, when Michael B. Jordan's sitting there and he's like, hey, we can, like, undo literally everything bad. And then the Watcher was like, yeah, or I could trap you in a pocket dimension and everything stays horrible and I have to put Black Widow in a completely different universe.
I had this whole plan where I was going to put Black Widow in this other universe just because it's like fucking watching ants, and I just wanted to see what they would do. If we save her universe, I can't really do that, so...
These are my stories. This is my fan fiction. Don't take this from me, Michael B. Jordan. Do a thing that doesn't even make sense, where you both... How about when they both just stand there with their arms out, and the Infinity Stones are just in the center? And we're all supposed to act like this is like a cool scene.
I like how anybody can just like summon the stones if you got the right piece of armor. Which Ultron isn't even wearing anymore. Or sorry, Arnim Zola. Also, like, again, as a comic booky thing, Arnim Zola has a robot body that has his face on his tummy tum.
You gotta give him that. Come on. Like,
nope. When Vision shows up and he's like, I got a face on my tummy tum, and I was like, that's fine. Like, that's a fine reference in theory. In execution, why is that face there? Why would it be on his stomach? How's he projecting that? I can understand the face being on his face, or he just talks with his voice, but the fact that the face is on his stomach is fucking stupid.
It's because...
That's stupid,
No,
Seth.
you don't understand. Hawkeye's USB arrow hit him in the eye, rewrote his entire body. Comics, everybody, come on. This is our thing.
And again, it's one of those things that's just like, the references are a little too cute for me, and I was just like, ugh. It's fine, it just doesn't make sense.
As I've said before, a lot more gets to go through in comics, and you can say comics, everybody. They're too late to get away with a comics, everybody bit, because it's been grounded for 10 years.
Well, I mean, if we had popped in on a universe where, like, you know,
everybody
Ultron
had Arnim Zola on his face.
Well, I was going to say, if we popped in on a universe where Arnim Zola had taken over Ultron, and that was like the universe, and Arnim Zola's face was on his tummy, I'd be like,
he built that.
Yeah, that's sure. That's dumb. But I didn't watch it happen in real time.
Yeah, I didn't see a completely a robot that wouldn't be able to work on.
I could just be like, yeah, he put his face on his tummy tum because
that's his power.
But for this, it's just fucking stupid. It's like as a sight gag, it's fine. As like a thing in the episode where he's like, "Oh, look at how threatening I am talking in my accent that I can't mimic. Look at my tummy. I got a big stupid face on it." I was just like, and also I'm summoning the stone somehow because that's just like a thing we can do. I'm not wearing the armor that can apparently summon it. Also, it doesn't whatever.
I don't like how
they should have let Michael B. Jordan snap his stupid fingers and do whatever, because it would have blown up like it did on Thanos. Remember how his arm was all fucked up when he was like, I'm going to snap away 50% of the whatever.
Too much of the power. What if they went to a universe where Arnim Zola was on everybody's abdomen?
That'd be funny.
That's all I got. So, I mentioned it a little bit when you were on a thing, and I wanted it to be heard. You can edit it out. I was going to say something else. Oh, I don't like how Doctor Strange is not evil. Like, I know he's not technically evil, but he's just like, this was like evil Doctor Strange in the Doctor Strange episode, but now he's just like Doctor Strange with bags under his eyes.
Yes, exactly. It's fine. It's stupid, but it's fine.
I
don't know. For me, it doesn't really bother me.
It was just something
I
had
the same thought.
Yeah, it was just something I noticed where I was like, you're not even like...
And to be fair, in the truncated version of his story that we watch in the episode...
He's not the bad...
He learns his lesson at the end too late.
I guess you're fair.
But it's also after we watch him be like, I'm so fucking evil, I'll kill myself. And then once it's over, it's like, oh, now I have to have my redemption arc so that I can show up in the crossover.
I can't believe we're going to just do the same story.
You know they will.
I know.
Like, I mean, I will fucking eat my words if I'm wrong, but I'm not. I have zero doubt in my mind. The only doubt is just the fact that it is possible that, like, there is a capability to write, produce, and animate a show that does not do that. It is not an impossible feat. Therefore, there is, I guess I am 99.99999999999% certain.
So this is the multiverse saga.
Apparently.
Where does that end up?
I don't know. The X-Men show up.
I think the X-Men are definitely going to show up. Well, no, we've heard literally every movie that's from here to the heat death of the universe.
I have heard rumors that the X-Men are showing up in Quantumverse. They're like rumors. But apparently, like, part of that is that, like, Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart are supposed to reprise their roles. Because of course they fucking are. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's, like, the set off. Now we're going to introduce the X-Men into our universe, or introduce an X-Men universe that is just part of... Which, if you're going to do X-Men, that's the way to do it. put them in their own fucking bubble
Just like in the
universe where they don't.
comics. So I guess what I'm really asking is like, who's the Thanos of the multiverse saga?
Probably Kang.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Kang.
Since the multiverse is just timelines, it's Kang.
No, yeah, it's definitely Kang. Okay, so Kang's going to be in the last two movies of the last two penultimate movies, and there's just going to be like a Spider-Man movie. I mean, we're really just going to sit through another 10 years for it to culminate in a Purple Man trying
You
to...
fucking know it. You fucking know it, dude.
Who's going to destroy the world in one episode, and then they're going to revert the timeline in the next?
Everything gotta be fucking big. It's boring. It's boring when the stakes just go...
You know, I saw a tweet today that was about somebody making fun of the Marvel Universe and just being like, I was like, Marvel fans watching the 40th Marvel movie as the hero beats up the villain for the 180th time. And then somebody was like, every good guy in the history of cinema has beat the bad guy. Like, why is this a thing that you're calling us out on? And I agree with that, where it's like, out of all we've talked ad nauseum about all the crap that goes on in the MCU, and it's just like, that is not even on the radar for me, of being like, everybody has, you're seeing the same movie. Like, you are, but it's not necessarily wrong to sit there and be like, yeah, literally every like movie with a hero in it, they win.
Again, it's the sameness of how, for me.
And I also think because...
ends the same boring way.
Because it's all under like one executive producer, it all starts to get the same voice.
Yes.
Paul Feig.
I'll think the Feig.
I listened to, we put that up. I listened to it when I burned it, and I was like, what a good bit. Feig. Just like, you know, Feig. Are we done? I'm kind of done, I think.
Seth, give me 2 put-ups and a put-down.
Well, my first put-up, Andrew, is when the Infinity Stone is on the ground and everyone's around it and you don't see what's going on, but everybody gets knocked down and it's a fun shot. My second put-up is going to be, I liked when Ultron first shows up when they get the team together and he has to fight all the hammers, but that's when everybody kind of has their own, like, everybody kind of does some teamwork bits. There's like a neat shot where Captain Carter hits him with her shield and then catches one of the hammers and flies back around. That was good stuff. My put down is going to be how stupid it was when I just wanted the episode to end and Ultron was like, haha, these aren't close enough stones to your stone killing machine. And so the episode continues.
My first put up is going to be, I'm going to just give it a broad, I like the action. As very much as I hate action in these things, I like the action in this. I thought there was a lot of comic booky stuff. Like you said, the million hammers I thought was cool. Peggy grabbing a hammer, T'Challa stealing a stone. There's a lot of portals, and Doctor Strange turned into a giant tentacle monster, and there's a lot of really good stuff. The fantasy armor, all that stuff. There's a lot of fun comic booky stuff in this episode. My second put up is going to be something very, very small. We were talking earlier about the comedy Thor, and how his universe is kind of different and has different rules and whatnot. And there's a single line in this episode that I thought was way more interesting than anything that actually happened in his episode. But there's a thing where Killmonger is like staring at the Ultron head that he somehow uses to summon the stones because sure, why not? Who gives a shit? It might have been Gamora. I don't remember who. Someone turns to him and says, do you trust that guy? And Thor goes, yeah, I trust everyone. And I thought, yeah, a Thor that didn't grow up with Loki constantly deceiving him would probably trust everyone. I mean, I'm sure he'd also find other ways to not trust everyone. But like the general idea of just like without Loki around, Thor's just like a happy, more trusting guy. Mm-hmm. I think that's a fun little line that indicates a character that we don't really get to see because we just watch Party Thor, which to be fair, I mean, is an extension of that. But I just think like that was a more interesting like understanding of the ripple effect of the timeline change, the what if consequences than just like Thor throws a big fucking party in a comedy universe. My put down is going to be, I gotta say it, I fucking hate the sword and shield line from Carter and Black Widow. One, I hated all of their scenes together. It just felt weird. I think part of it is that I think that Black Widow's fine, but there's just something about their lines felt really awkward and stilted. I didn't like at the beginning how it was the cutesy, like, look, it's the movie, but different. She's not talking to Steve this time. She's talking to Peggy.
Yeah. Kind
of crap. But the sword and shield thing is just like a stupid line where she's like, I've got the shield and you have the sword. And she's like, that's a weird metaphor, but it's more like little dagger things. And I was like, fuck you. And then at the end when she's like, I've got this shield and you've got the sword. And she's like, it's a weird metaphor, but I got this like fucking stupid arrow thing that if I shoot it into his eye, there's like a USB port behind there and there's a USB on the end. And I was like, what? And then Peggy doesn't even use her fucking shield. And I mean, she doesn't have to. It's a fucking metaphor or whatever. But like, you had a literal, like, the sword was metaphorical. The shield was literal. You didn't fucking use it. It was dumb. I hated that line. It was like the one thing in this episode that really just rubbed me the wrong way, and it's at the very beginning and at the very end, so it just like bookends nicely.
I agree that
pissing me off.
It didn't piss me off, but I agree that I was just kind of like, not having it.
Now that the mics are off, what are we
Well,
watching?
Andrew, I'm glad you asked, but I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself, because don't you want to know where this is in my top rankings of the MCU?
Oh yeah, whoops. Seth, where do you put these?
Well, Andrew, I'm glad you
rankings?
asked. I put this just haphazardly, like they all are anymore, at number 8. Less than Spider-Man, Far From Home, more than Ant-Man. I think I started mentioning it last episode, where I think the fact that these were just, yes, it's 4 hours, so it's longer than other things, but being able to just clock out of work, sit down for a half hour, talk for an hour and a half, is way nicer than just being like, where do I want to dictate 6 hours of my night to?
I think I'm going to put this at number 11, below WandaVision and above Spider-Man Far From Home. I think, like you said, the half-hour episodes are digestible and easy for this.
Like, as a whole, I'm sure other things are better, yeah.
I think the experiment of WandaVision and its sitcom stuff is more interesting to me than this what-if stuff, just because these what-ifs are so boring, for the most part. The couple gems in here, or at least, sparkly stones in here, aren't worth the whole experience for me. And Seth, what would you say is your favorite episode, and what would be your least favorite?
I thought you were going to forget. I think my favorite is going to be What If Ultron won. I think that's the one that fits, in a weird metaphor here, fits cleanest outside of the universe as a whole. Like, it's the one that just kind of, I agree that both of these feel separated enough, but I agree that this episode does have more going into it that kind of gets into that little bit of Marvel Muck. I just remember last episode being able to sit down, watch it, feel content, and move on. So I'm going to say What If Ultron won. My least favorite is going to be, I don't know, maybe the Captain Carter one. I think that one, again, it was just like a retelling. It was my first foray. That was more of kind of my monologue that you did today, where I was just like, all right, let's get into What If. This is what they're doing with it.
So my favorite, I like a lot about the What If the Avengers never formed or whatever it was. What if the Avengers were killed off? And I like a lot of the What If Ultron 1, but I think my favorite is probably, surprising even me, I think it's the What If Thor Didn't Have Loki one. I just think it's fun and kind of like stupid in a way that was enjoyable to me. I think if you really like put a gun to my head, I probably would disagree in the end, but I think in this moment, thinking back on them, that's the one that I really kind of liked. Mm-hmm. My least favorite, though, is the What If Tony Stark Was Saved by Killmonger?
That one was close.
That one's fucking boring. It's a waste of time. It is so deeply entrenched in the two movies it's stemming out of. It has nothing to say. I hate that one. That one is fucking awful.
I thought about that one, but I just I thought back to Captain Carter and just retelling that movie. And not that Killmonger.
I think every episode I could sit down and watch again, I think I could not get a second of enjoyment out of that one again.
That's fair.
I think there's fun stuff in Captain Carter.
Yeah,
and I
agree.
Watch it again. But I think that one is just a miserable slog and completely a waste of fucking time.
You're probably right. So, what do you think the people's favorite episode is? By 1/10 of a point.
The people's favorite episode is probably the finale, I'd guess.
Incorrect.
Either that or the Avengers getting killed.
Ooh, I should say, what do you think their favorite episode is, and what do you think their least favorite episode is?
Well, you told me I was incorrect in the finale, because I thought everybody would fucking circle jerk to the team up. Maybe the T'Challa one, or the Carter one? Probably T'Challa.
Is the favorite?
Just because people love Guardians of the Galaxy, people love fucking references, and people love Black Panther, so I'm going to go with that one.
That's as the favorite?
Yeah.
What do you think their least favorite episode is?
Least favorite, I'm going to say it's the same as mine.
Killmonger?
Yeah, I just don't think that one's really going to do much for very many people.
So I matched with the people. Everyone likes What If Ultron 1 at a 9.1. Right below that at a 9.0 is the Doctor Strange one.
I honestly completely forgot that one happened.
And then the least favorite, you matched What If Thor Were an Only Child. And then 3 points higher is What If Killmonger?
Well, I guess that means we won't be seeing more funny comedy episodes. They're all going to just be retellings of fucking movies.
Can we just get What If Season 2, which is What If we just made 8 episodes that were What If Ultron 1 again?
What if they did What If Season 2 is just What If we redid Season 1 and they just
what if
took a second stab at all of it?
What if Season 1 happened? Just as it did.
When they said every season's going to have an episode of Peggy Carter, what they meant is every episode's going to have the same episodes again.
Every season's going to have every episode. some weird art experiment. That'd be the craziest Marvel ever went.
I mean, I think that would get me more interested than let's watch another.
What season of What If do you think it would take before we got you on air finally saying, you know what, they did it. This is it. This is what I wanted. I wanted them to do.
I feel like with a show that didn't really start off on the right foot with me in the sophomore season of most shows, even good shows, it's usually worse than the first. I'm going to say 4th or 5th season, if we get that far, is where it's going to finally start getting stupid and out of ideas enough that everyone else is going to hate it and I'm going to be on board.
You gave a real answer. I was making a joke about what if each season was just season 1 over and over again. What season do you think we'd get to where you were finally just like, you know what, the Mad Men did it?
28.
Season 20. So season 28 of What If we watched the same 9 episodes 28 times. You'd sit there and be like, fucking genius.
Those fucking Mad Men.
And then we'll sit there and we'll be like, so Andrew, what are we going to watch next time? Well, Seth, I'm glad you asked. Next time we're going to be watching Shang-Chi 12.
This is Shang-Chi and the Legend of 1,000 Rings.
1,000. He teams up with Sonic. Sonic's like, hey, Shang-Chi, he's getting rings. I also like rings. And then, what's her name?
How long do you think it's going to be before the Marvel Universe crosses over with the Star Wars universe? I feel like we go far enough, like eventually Disney's just going to go for it. They're going to make a Disney cinematic universe and it's going to be like fucking Kingdom Hearts.
There's got to be a Visions What If thing, right? Visions being Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, there probably would be just like Disney Visions and it's just like every fucking thing we have, let's go fucking bonkers. What if Scrooge McDuck and Iron Man competed to see who had the most money?
You would watch a show where Scrooge McDuck...
I would watch the shit out of that, dude.
At the end... Okay, if we get the same goddamn exact season that we just watched, but at the end, fucking Watcher goes to Scrooge McDuck, and he goes, you've been chosen. And then Scrooge goes...
like, those fucking madmen, they did it.
Scrooge goes, well, how much do I get paid? And then Watcher face palms. And then he goes to nowhere, and he goes... Howard the Duck, you've been chosen. And Howard the Duck and Scrooge McDuck team up with Huey, Dewey, and Louie to fight Infinity Ultron. And then they kill Infinity Ultron.
Me.
They kill you in real life with a heart attack. They did it! The Madmen did it! No, and then Scrooge McDuck, they kill Iron Man, or Ultraman. Who's the guy? Ultron. They kill Ultron, and then Daisy goes, she turns to Huey and she goes, no, we got to get the other guy in here.
No, she turns to Dewey. I mean, we gotta stay true to the characters.
No, who's the other guy that I said that's in the Marvel Universe? Howard. She turns to Howard and she goes, do you trust this guy? And he looks over at Scrooge and he goes, I trust everybody. And then at the end, Scrooge McDuck gets the Infinity Stones and he's like, he just makes more money. And the world blows up because there's so much money. And scene. I have dinner. I gotta go. Are we done? Oh, wow. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you like this, tell a friend. If you didn't, then lie to a friend. Check us out on Twitter at SoHowAbout. You can find me on Twitter at SethKumpf. You can find Andrew on Twitter at TessuDownist. And subscribe to us on YouTube at SoHowAbout.
And join us next time when we do this once more with Interference.
Watcher.
Well, Andrew,
so, Seth,
I'm glad you asked. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow we're going to watch Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Rings, 5 Rings. What has 5 rings? That Christmas song. Isn't there a Legend of the 5 Rings?
Don't you have to
Super Mario? We're going to watch Shang-Chi, Legend of the 10 Rings?
Yes.
We're going to watch 10. He's going to collect 10 rings?
Yes.
It's going to be
one by
10 hours. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's one. Hey, there's another one. Did you like Shang-Chi?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So I won't like it this time. If there's anything we've learned, if I liked it the first time and I remember it,
if we've learned anything,
closely.
if you liked it the second time, you didn't like it.